I think this is God's own country. Of course, naturally, as a Donegal man, I'm biased, but you'll get beauty like this, comparable beauty in any county in Ireland. But I think it's a beauty of God, well worth fighting for. And if you just stood idly by and allow a community to become weakened or die out around here, then eventually you had produced a wilderness.
James McDyer was born in the first decade of the 20th century. His parents had a small holding 20 miles north of Glencolmcille. James was the youngest of a large family, and despite the extreme poverty of the time, they managed to cope quite well. He grew up in a county drained by immigration, and his whole life was influenced by it. He found his vocation in his ability to be able to help people, so as a young man, he became a priest. He saw it as one way of helping people, and once ordained, he soon found himself sailing for England, where he spent the war years amongst Irish workers. In 1952, at the age of 40, he was posted to Glencolmcille, where he brought to his people ideals of community and cooperation, and they, with him, have tried to win a better living from the glorious but inhospitable moorland.
I'm an activist by nature, and I felt it was no damn good preaching justice and equality on a Sunday if you cannot work to ensure that it happens on a Monday. When you see the causes of people's misery and deprivation, the ravages of immigration, the psychological devastation of unemployment, it is a Christian duty to provide effective help. To be perfectly truthful, I felt as mad as hell that these people were subjected, through neglect, to such enormous decimation.
When Father James first arrived in the parish, there was no electricity in people's houses, no piped water, no parish hall, no industry or economic infrastructure in the area. He set about getting recognition and grant aid from the people whom he'd like to call the bureaucratic authorities.
A lot of my time was spent shuttling up and down to Dublin, being rokied around from one department to another. And a lot of my time was spent going house to house, asking people in Glencolmcille, will you come to this meeting? Will you join this particular push we're making, and so on. For the very first action I got people gathered together to do was to build a community hall. From that, we went on to electricity. Then water supply. There was no piped water to any house except my own house. But I knew that I was only just barking up the wrong tree if I didn't, at some period or other, address myself to the economic front. I produced about 6 different plans for advancement of agriculture. Some of them were shot down by the local people. Some of them were shot down by departments. So I then discussed and turned towards industry. Something happened to me after all that effort. So the spirit of independence of bureaucracy and governmental departments was born, and we launched ourselves into the cooperative idea. We formed a small group of caring people, a committee which we called the Development Cooperative. We went on to develop what you can see today if you look around Glencolmcille. And the place has been opened up by tourism. We built 20 houses for rent, and then we bought an hotel and built 10 more houses for rent.
As I look back over the last 30 years in this parish of Glencolmcille, I am quite satisfied about the work that I've done. I'm not elated about it because there were so many things that could have been done that weren't done.
I had hoped that Glencolmcille, with its immensely difficult background, would be an inspiration for rural Ireland. And I sometimes flatter myself that it has been an inspiration for rural Ireland. If it has done that, then for me, all the years of backbreaking toil in Glencolmcille have certainly been worthwhile.
The west's away, the west's away, sing hurrah, let England quake. We'll watch till death for Iran's sake.
I have striven with all my might to help their bodily needs and to put a blockage on emigration from the place, if possible, or at least to give an opportunity to every young person to stay here and have a job here. And looking back on all these ups and downs, I think it is the most satisfying life that a person could have.